What's up, Digital Breakers? James Downton here, and today we're talking episode 22 of Sword Art Online Alicization. Now, first off, this episode was 100 times better than the last episode. And personally speaking, the reason for that is because I, for one, found this episode to actually have that sort of game feel. It had that sort of vibe that it was actually based in a video game. And that might sound stupid considering all Sword Art sort of, episodes that we've had. Pretty much every episode, there might have been one or two where they haven't. And the movies have all been based on being in the game. However, this episode brings the whole sort of series of this season up to a new level. First of all, we had brilliant, fantastically placed music. Like, the music got me excited when in the parts that it was meant to. The build-up to the big sort of climactic ending felt like it belonged there. It didn't feel like it was rushed or out of place, and I really did like that. So, let's start from the beginning. Let's rewind a little bit. So this episode starts off with the battle, which kind of is a bit disappointing, and even the Prosophic says that even she finds it disappointing. With the clown guy basically turning into flames like it did in the last episode, and then he got one-shotted by Kirito basically. And this was actually a pretty nice scene. Like, I don't like one-shots in animes much, but this was handled really well, I personally find. We've already seen Yusho's sort of ultimate move where he can crystallize everything in ice. We saw him do that against Balticles, the top Integrity Knight, basically. And we see, I think, Kirito's, although it was never stated that it was Kirito's sort of ultimate move. It was a move that he managed to use where he kind of regained, I can't pronounce words today. He regained his sort of Sword Art outfit, his original OG outfit, and launched an amazing attack. He kind of went God mode, basically. It was the sort of same skill level as what he was back in Aincrad, and we all know how overpowered that was. So that was pretty awesome. We also had Alice basically showing off her weapon by defending against a flame monster. That was pretty cool. And the one thing I really have liked about this series, the Alicization sort of series, is that it focuses more on the weapons. And this episode especially. Like, throughout Sword Art, I actually don't care about any weapons. But this season has actually given me some sort of, like, interest in the weapons. Yusho's Blue Rose. That's a very interesting weapon. I like the design of it, and I love the mechanic behind it. Alice's weapon. I absolutely love that weapon. I love the fact that it can kind of turn into flowers and sort of end up like Senbone Sakura from Bleach. That is amazing. Kirito, not so bothered about his. Balticles, he had a very cool weapon and a very good fighting style. I can name quite a few more from this series, but I don't need to go into detail with much. But yeah, the weapons, no matter if they're swords, no matter if they're sort of katanas, spears or whatever, have been amazing in this series. I love the fact they're focusing more on that. Now, in the last review, I said I was a bit disappointed in the sort of big monster fight. And that's because with the new opening that we got, which is fantastic by the way, I love the new visuals, we see a sort of sword looking monster. And I was really excited for that battle. And we actually got that this episode. However, it's actually the main villain, the Prosophic, who actually brings that monster, into being. After the confrontation that the three had with her, about sort of the world getting destroyed and whether or not she was prepared to have people fight against the quote-unquote evil side. She revealed that, and at first it was pretty cool. I actually was, gobsmacked when I saw Alice died, or get stabbed. She did technically die. Kirito even got his backside handed to him. And, that's nice. Yusho, I felt like he was purposely left alone. He was frozen in fear and he kind of didn't get attacked. I don't know, I found that a bit weird. but maybe the Crucifix is kind of still wanting to use him. Who knows? Now, after which, Kirito's losing a lot of blood, Alice has lost too much at this point. We see Charlotte. Now, I don't really remember Charlotte. I vaguely don't actually remember her appearing in the series at all. So, her death wasn't really that impactful for me. But it was still good, because it set up the Cardinal to come back in. The little girl with the hat and staff. She made an epic appearance that basically one-shotted this giant monster. Now, I don't believe that this monster is down and out, because, you know, it's meant to be all powerful and has, like, I think she says like 13 or 30 sort of perfect weapon arts under control. So it's meant to be pretty strong. And one lightning bolt attack can't really destroy it. That's what I'm hoping for anyway, because these one-shots are a bit underwhelming. Anyway, Kirito's all healed, Alice is all healed, and the episode ends with those three, Yusho, basically all staring down the Crucifix. And she's just laughing away. Typical villain style. Now, like I said, this episode had that in-game feel. It felt like that you go from one boss that's quite weak to an even bigger boss, and it felt like that cutscene where you saw the bladed monster, which they called the Sword Golem, which, not too keen on the name, but we saw that kind of almost come out, so it was like transforming out with his arms and all sorts, going everywhere. It felt like a real game cutscene, and I love that. So overall, the music in this episode was brilliant, the animation was good, the fights were a little bit underwhelming, the dialogue was pretty interesting, and the return of Cardinal was pretty cool. So, this episode overall is one of my favourite episodes of this series. You know, it had some amazing things, we saw some amazing weapons being used, it was nice. I would highly recommend for anyone to go watch it if you haven't. I mean, obviously you've been spoiled on some of the good things, but you should still enjoy it anyway. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this review. Okay, so that's all basically the review bit out of the way. Next thing, I'm going to talk about my predictions for the future sort of episodes and the concern that I have. Right, so let's go into that. Start with the concern. So the concern I've got is that with most Sword Art series, you can see it from Aincrad to Elfheim. You can see it from Gun Gale to Mother Rose. They basically all follow the same pattern. And that is, they have 12 episodes, and then they go on to something different. And they set that up in the first episode of the Alicization series, where they had Kirito with Alice and Yusho, and they had the whole sort of Gun Gale type of thing. And they haven't really expanded on that, which, you know, I'm not complaining about, because I'm not really that bothered by the other casts. I find this series a lot better because the other cast aren't in it. But I have a feeling that they might save it all for one episode. Or I might be wrong, there might not be 25 episodes to this series. They might be longer. And if there is, and you know it, let me know down in the comments below, because I don't actually know. But saying that, is the worry and concern that I have is that they're going to go back to this Gun Gale thing and then kind of rush it. Like, I like tournament arcs in pretty much any anime, but if they're going to rush it, it's not going to be that interesting, and it's probably going to hurt the series overall. So what I was thinking is they just forget about it and leave it. Like, yeah, people will be angry at it because, you know, why set it up and not do anything, but they can keep it and kick it off for the next arc. Like, maybe once this is all over, they actually properly go on with it and have Isuki, Zaliska, Kudaha, they could have them appearing. That would be really cool, because we see Kudaha's name on the list of Gun Gale, GGO, you know, ranking list in the first episode. If you go back and pause it, you can see her name, and you can see Isuki's name as well. So we know they're in the actual sort of world of GGO, in the anime sort of type of thing. But I don't want them to basically have one episode left and come back and go, oh yeah, remember this thing? because Asuna hasn't done anything this series yet, and that's a bit disappointing because she started out strong and then she kind of just dropped off partway through this series. Oh well. Now, prediction for upcoming episode. So the prediction that I've got is that Cardinal isn't all she seems. We know that the Crucifix is actually only out for her own gain, but she does state in this episode that you believe that liar, and she may not be the most truthfulest person, but I think she holds some truth in this sort of episode. Now, Cardinal might have some hidden agenda, and it probably will be revealed, so it's kind of like the main boss after the main boss. Just a little thought I had, because even from the first episode we were introduced to this woman, Cardinal, I didn't actually trust her to begin with. And I actually, still don't. Like, she had a cool appearance, like I said in this review, and she helped out and healed, but I think that's like wolves in sheep clothing. I don't know, it might just be a bit of a suspicious vibe I get from that character, but I'm a bit wary. And I think that once everything's said and done, I think she'll kind of turn out to be the bad person. And maybe Kirito will have to fight her, or it'll be Alice's turn to step up. Like, Alice and Yusho can double team her. And, at this point, Yusho might as well just, like, freeze her, and then Alice kind of carve her into, like, a swan or something. Double team. That'd be pretty cool. It won't happen, but it's something we can think about and keep in our minds going forward. Right, so that's going to do it for this sort of episode. I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new so you never miss a video from me. Comment down below all of your thoughts on this episode. Did you like it? Was it predictable? What do you think going forward? And let me know your thoughts on how they've handled the rest of the cast this season. Are you happy that they're not in it? Or are you disappointed that we haven't elaborated on what was said in episode 1? Apart from that, guys, catch you later.